The Quartermaine mansion has witnessed countless dramatic moments throughout its storied history, but nothing could have prepared the family for the bombshell that emerged during Monica Quartermaine's will reading, as Port Charles mourns the loss of their beloved matriarch, who peacefully passed away in her sleep. A stunning revelation threatens to reshape everything the Quartermaine family thought they knew about Monica's past. The atmosphere at All Saints Chapel was heavy with grief as family members, friends, and colleagues gathered to pay their final respects to Dr. Monica Quartermaine. Jason Morgan, who had been living in the mansion during Monica's final year, stood at the chapel entrance greeting mourners, his sorrow evident as he gazed at Monica's photograph and reflected on the precious time they had shared together. Tracy Quartermaine, who had initially fled to Atlantic City to gamble away her grief, ultimately returned just in time for the service after winning a final hand of blackjack that convinced her to face her loss. The memorial service brought together the surviving members of the once mighty Quartermaine clan. Ned Quartermaine delivered a moving eulogy, reflecting on Monica's complex legacy as both a physician and the family matriarch. Brooklyn struggled with the reality of saying goodbye and living in Monica's house without her presence, while Olivia remembered Monica's final words through a letter she had left behind. Even Drew Quartermaine, despite his estrangement from the family following his affair scandal, insisted on attending the memorial against medical advice. The will reading that changed everything. Following the emotional funeral service, the family gathered in the familiar surroundings of the Quartermaine mansion for the reading of Monica's will. The lawyer, flanked by the family's remaining members including Tracy, Jason, and Ned, began the formal proceedings. As expected, Monica had made provisions for her loved ones, including her sons and grandchildren. However, as the reading progressed, a collective gasp filled the room when the lawyer mentioned a name that none of them recognized. Henry. The will explicitly stated that Henry was Monica's biological son, a revelation that left Tracy, Jason, and Ned stunned into silence. Despite their combined decades of family history and intimate knowledge of Monica's life, none of them had ever heard this name mentioned. The legal document was clear. An unambiguous Henry was entitled to his share of the Quartermaine inheritance as Monica's rightful child. The lawyer explained that according to the documentation provided, Henry was currently residing in France, and they would need to locate him to inform him of both his mother's passing and his inheritance rights. The family sat in shocked silence, processing this earth-shattering revelation that Monica had somehow managed to keep such a monumental secret for what appeared to be decades. Jason's mission to uncover the truth. As the initial shock began to wear off, Jason Morgan stepped forward to volunteer for the task of traveling to France to find Henry. His motivation was deeply personal. He needed to understand who this mysterious son was and, more importantly, why Monica had chosen to hide such a significant secret from her family. Jason's relationship with Monica had been complicated throughout the years, marked by periods of estrangement due to his involvement in organized crime. But their recent reconciliation had been meaningful to both of them. The decision to personally handle this delicate family matter reflected Jason's sense of responsibility and his desire to honor Monica's memory by ensuring her wishes were carried out properly. Tracy, still reeling from the discovery, supported Jason's plan, recognizing that his investigative skills and determination made him the ideal person to unravel this mystery. The journey to France and a stunning discovery. Upon arriving in France, Jason used the address and information provided in Monica's will to locate Henry. The search led him through the picturesque streets of a French town, where he finally found the man who was supposedly Monica's son. However, what Jason discovered was perhaps even more shocking than the initial revelation in the will. When Jason finally came face to face with Henry, he was met with genuine confusion and bewilderment. Henry, appearing to be a man in his 30s or 40s, had absolutely no knowledge of Monica Quartermaine. He had never heard her name, had no idea of her existence, and was completely unaware that he supposedly had a wealthy mother in America. Henry explained that he had lived his entire life believing he was an orphan, with no knowledge of his biological family or any connection to the Quartermaine fortune. Despite Henry's apparent ignorance about Monica, the name and address in the will matched perfectly with the man standing before Jason. This created a perplexing situation. How could Monica's will so specifically identify someone who claimed to have no knowledge of her existence? The mystery deepened as Jason realized that either Monica had somehow been mistaken about Henry's identity, or there were layers to this story that had yet to be uncovered. The return to Port Charles convinced that Henry was indeed the person mentioned in Monica's will. Despite the man's protests and confusion, Jason made the decision to bring him back to Port Charles. Henry, initially reluctant to leave his life in France, eventually agreed to accompany Jason, perhaps drawn by curiosity about the mysterious inheritance and the possibility of finally learning about his true origins. The prospect of Henry moving into the Quartermaine mansion adds another layer of complexity to an already dramatic situation. The mansion, which Monica had proudly owned and frequently reminded her family members was hers when disputes rose, now potentially has a new heir who knows nothing about its history or the family dynamics that have played out within its walls for decades. Implications for the Quartermaine family legacy. Henry's arrival in Port Charles promises to bring unprecedented drama to the already complicated Quartermaine family dynamics. Tracy, who has long been the family's most formidable member, will likely view this newcomer with suspicion and may challenge his legitimacy. The family's business interests, including ELQ Industries, could also be affected if Henry is indeed entitled to a portion of Monica's estate. For Jason, this situation represents more than just a family obligation. It's an opportunity to understand a hidden part of Monica's life and perhaps gain insight into secrets she carried to her grave. The revelation also raises questions about what other surprises Monica may have left behind, and whether this mysterious son represents the beginning or the end of startling family discoveries. The introduction of Henry to the Quartermaine family tree also has the potential to create new alliances and conflicts within Port Charles. As someone with no knowledge of the family's history, personal vendettas, or business dealings, Henry represents a wild card whose loyalties and motivations remain completely unknown. Questions that demand answers. As Henry prepares to enter the world of the Quartermaines, numerous questions remain unanswered. How did Monica manage to keep such a significant secret from her family for so many years? What circumstances led to Henry being raised as an orphan in France, while she lived her life in Port Charles? Was this separation voluntary on Monica's part, or were there external forces that kept mother and son apart? The timing of this revelation, coming after Monica's death when she can no longer provide explanations, adds to the mystery and ensures that the truth may be difficult to uncover. Henry's own lack of knowledge about his supposed mother creates additional challenges in piecing together the full story. Furthermore, the legal implications of Henry's inheritance rights could create significant complications for the existing family members who had assumed they understood the scope of Monica's estate. The involvement of lawyers and potential challenges to the will's validity may introduce additional drama and conflict to an already emotionally charged situation. As Port Charles prepares to welcome this mysterious newcomer, the stage is set for compelling storylines that will test family bonds, reveal long-buried secrets, and potentially reshape the Quartermaine legacy forever. Henry's integration into the family and his discovery of his supposed mother's world promises to deliver the kind of dramatic storytelling that has made General Hospital a daytime television institution for over 6 decades. The revelation of Henry's existence serves as a reminder that in the world of soap operas, no secret stays buried forever, and even in death, beloved characters like Monica Quartermaine can continue to surprise and captivate audiences with revelations that change everything we thought we knew about their lives and loves. Next, we will dive deep into the intriguing mystery surrounding Britt Westburn's unexpected package of medication and that cryptic note signed with a simple C. In the latest twist from the September 22nd episode, Britt Westburn stumbles upon a neatly wrapped gift on her bed, complete with a festive bow that hints at something far more sinister than a casual present. As she unwraps it, she's met with vials of the crucial drug she desperately needs to manage her condition, accompanied by a stern reminder on a card not to skip her doses. The signature, just a lone C, sparking endless speculation among fans about who could be pulling the strings from the shadows. This isn't just any delivery, it's a calculated move that blends care with an undercurrent of control, leaving Britt both relieved and unnerved. Could this be a guardian angel watching over her, or a puppet master with ulterior motives? The timing feels too perfect, especially with Port Charles buzzing from recent resurrections, making everyone question if the dead truly stay buried in this town. Naturally, the prime suspect in this enigma points straight to Caesar Faison, the notorious villain whose shadow still looms large over General Hospital's tangled web of secrets. Fans remember Faison as the mastermind with a twisted obsession for chaos, and his supposed demise leaving his brain preserved in a jar house. never fully convinced the soap's dedicated viewers. After all, in the world of daytime drama, death is often just a plot device waiting to be undone. Imagine if Faison orchestrated a miraculous escape or revival, perhaps through some clandestine scientific breakthrough that GH writers could weave in effortlessly. His history with manipulation and disguise makes him a fitting candidate for such a covert gesture toward Britt, who shares a complicated familial tie with him as his daughter. Adding layers to this theory, Faison's penchant for psychological games could explain the note's authoritative tone, almost like a father's scolding reminder, infused with his signature flair for drama. Yet, as we ponder this, it's worth considering how his return might ripple through other storylines, potentially reigniting old feuds and alliances in unexpected ways. But hold on, what if the showrunners are cleverly dangling Faison as a distraction? A classic red herring designed to mislead us while the real culprit hides in plain sight. This wouldn't be the first time General Hospital has toyed with audience expectations, building suspense through misdirection. Perhaps he stands for something entirely different, like a member of the infamous Casadini family, known for their elaborate schemes and island intrigues. Victor Casadini, for instance, has a track record of faking deaths and pulling strings from afar. But his involvement here raises questions about motive. If Victor did orchestrate this, it might tie into a larger Casadini plot to control key players in Port Charles, using Britt's vulnerability as leverage. However, the personal touch of the package tailored specifically to her medical needs suggests a deeper, more intimate connection rather than cold opportunism. Inventing a fresh angle, what if this Z is actually Charlotte Casadini, stepping into a more shadowy role, influenced by her family's legacy? Or perhaps it's a new Casadini relative emerging from the woodwork, adding fresh blood to the dynasty's ongoing saga. This possibility opens doors to exploring how Britt's Huntington's disease storyline could intersect with Casadini genetics or experimental treatments, heightening the stakes for her character arc. Delving further, the mystery gains even more intrigue when we factor in Nathan West's shocking return from the dead, and his dramatic truck crash that lands him right back at General Hospital. The coincidence is impossible to ignore. Britt discovers her life-saving meds, just as her brother reappears, battered but alive, stirring up emotions and suspicions alike. Nathan's resurrection, defying all logic, mirrors the soap's history of improbable comebacks. And it begs the question, did he play a role in delivering this package? Maybe he's acting as a messenger for a higher power, unknowingly or not, bridging the gap between the living and those thought lost. Expanding on this, picture Nathan grappling with fragmented memories from his time away, perhaps influenced by Faison's lingering essence, which could explain any erratic behavior post-crash. His fingerprints remaining intact adds a forensic puzzle, suggesting advanced tech or body swaps at play, reminiscent of past GH plots involving identity theft and hidden agendas. This connection not only amplifies the sibling dynamic between Britt and Nathan, but also invites speculation on how their shared past with Faison might resurface, forcing them to confront buried traumas and heartfelt, confrontational scenes. Taking the theory to a bolder level, what if Caesar Faison hasn't just returned, but has found a way to inhabit Nathan's body, through some form of memory mapping or consciousness transfer? General Hospital has dabbled in such sci-fi elements before, like with the infamous Drew Kane and Jason Morgan switcheroo, proving that mind-bending tech is fair game in Port Charles. In this scenario, Faison's brain, preserved and possibly reactivated, could be overriding Nathan's psyche, allowing him to sign the card with C as a subtle clue to his presence. This would account for Nathan's survival instincts during the crash, and any uncharacteristic actions moving forward, blending the two men's personalities into a volatile mix. Inventing additional details. Imagine subtle hints in upcoming episodes where Nathan exhibits Faison's mannerisms, a sly grin, a cryptic phrase, or an unexplained knowledge of Britt's medical regimen, building tension toward an explosive reveal. Such a storyline would not only shock viewers, but also explore themes of identity, redemption, and the blurred lines between hero and villain, potentially leading to intense therapy sessions or confrontations that reshape family bonds. As we piece together these possibilities, it's clear that this mystery is more than a fleeting plot point. It's a catalyst for broader chaos in Port Charles. Whether it's Faison clawing his way back, a Casadini scheming in the background, or a mind meld twist involving Nathan, the implications are bound to shake up relationships and alliances. Britt's reaction, a mix of gratitude and paranoia, sets the stage for her to dig deeper, perhaps enlisting allies like Jason Morgan or her mother Liesel Obrecht for support. Adding inventive elements, what if the package includes a hidden tracker, allowing C to monitor Britt's every move, escalating the danger and drawing in other characters like Sonny Corinthos for protection? This could spiral into a multi-episode arc filled with chases, betrayals, and revelations, keeping fans on the edge of their seats. Wrapping up our exploration, the enigma of Britt's meds and the elusive C signature promises to unravel in ways that could redefine General Hospital's landscape. With resurrections, family secrets, and potential body swaps at play, the show is priming us for high-stakes drama that ties back to its rich history of intrigue. Next, we will uncover the electrifying chaos that erupted in the GH emergency room, where a mysterious car crash victim bearing a striking likeness to the dearly departed Nathan West has everyone questioning reality itself. The drama unfolded like a high-stakes suspense novel this week, transforming the usually bustling General Hospitaler into a hub of confusion and disbelief as paramedics wheeled in a gravely injured man who could pass for Nathan West's identical twin. Port Charles was already on edge from ongoing scandals, but this rival amplified the tension, with nurses whispering and doctors exchanging bewildered glances. Ryan Pavey, the charismatic actor who embodied Nathan for years, has made a triumphant comeback to the show after a 7-year hiatus, slipping back into the role with an air of enigma that promises to rewrite familiar narratives. His character's sudden appearance isn't just a nostalgic nod, it's a calculated bombshell, designed to disrupt lives, particularly that of Maxie Jones, who lies vulnerable in a coma, her world potentially shattered by this ghostly figure from her past. Inventing a fresh layer, imagine the lights flickering dramatically as the gurney rolls in, symbolizing the flickering line between life and death that GH loves to blur. While onlookers like passing patients freeze in shock, their mundane checkups forgotten amid the spectacle. As the mystery deepens, the burning question on every fan's lips is whether this bandaged survivor is truly Nathan West, miraculously clawed back from the grave, or a devious imposter engineered to sow discord in the heart of Port Charles. Pavey himself has dropped tantalizing hints about a fresh new story awaiting his alter ego, suggesting plot twists that could ripple outward, awakening buried emotions and forcing characters to confront unresolved grief. With Maxie teetering on the brink in her comatose state, this development might serve as the emotional catalyst to pull her back to consciousness, or it could plunge her deeper into turmoil if the truth proves darker than expected. Adding inventive details, perhaps this Nathan carries a hidden tattoo or scar from his supposed death, a subtle clue that eagle-eyed viewers will dissect, tying into GH's tradition of forensic Easter eggs that reward loyal watchers. The air in the air thickens with speculation, as staff members recall Nathan's heroic legacy as a detective, making his potential return feel like a beacon of hope amid the show's relentless parade of villains and betrayals. Eyewitness accounts only fuel the fire, with Lulu Spencer finding herself at the center of the storm after spotting the fiery crash firsthand and rushing to aid the driver, her quick thinking turning her into a key player in this unfolding puzzle. Harrison Chase, ever the diligent cop, wastes no time interrogating Lulu, his questions probing for any inconsistencies that might reveal foul play, while the rest of Port Charles buzzes with gossip about the stranger's identity. This incident isn't isolated, it's a convergence of fates, pulling in threads from multiple storylines and heightening the sense of interconnected destiny that defines General Hospital. Expanding creatively, envision Lulu's hands trembling as she describes the crash scene, her voice cracking with the weight of recognition, perhaps flashing back to her own past traumas involving lost loved ones, which adds a personal stake to her involvement and sets up potential alliances or conflicts with Chase in future episodes. Their team springs into action with precision as Dr. Lucas Jones and Nurse Elizabeth Baldwin work feverishly to stabilize the bloodied victim, their efforts underscored by beeping monitors and urgent calls for blood transfusions that echo through the halls. The man's condition is touch and go, with injuries that suggest a high-speed collision engineered for maximum impact, leaving no room for error in his treatment. This high-drama rescue intersects dramatically with Anna Devane and Dante Falcone's ongoing probe into Drew Kane's shocking shooting, creating a web of investigations that could expose larger conspiracies lurking beneath the surface. Inventing new elements. What if hidden in the victim's wrecked vehicle is a cryptic note or device linking back to international intrigue? Perhaps a WSB gadget that Anna recognizes instantly, bridging her spy background with this personal resurrection tale. and escalating the stakes for everyone involved. At first glance, The Patient is a dead ringer for Nathan West, valiant detective tragically gunned down in 2018 by his own father, the diabolical Caesar Faison, in a moment that left fans heartbroken and Maxie forever changed. Bandaged and unresponsive, he embodies the spitting image, from his chiseled features to his unmistakable build, sparking immediate chaos among those who knew the real Nathan. Social media erupts with fan frenzy. One viral Facebook post exclaiming, "Seeing Nathan's face again? I'm absolutely screaming," is playing with our hearts. This resurrection vibe aligns perfectly with soap opera tropes, where death is rarely final, and Pavey's return feels like a masterstroke to revive old flames and ignite new rivalries. Adding depth, perhaps the show incorporates subtle callbacks to Nathan's final scenes, like a locket or watch recovered from the crash that Maxie gifted him, tugging at heartstrings and building toward an emotional payoff that's sure to dominate water cooler talks. Theories abound on how this could be the genuine Nathan, perhaps having faked his demise to shield Maxie and their young son James from the relentless threats of Faison's lingering enemies, a plot twist straight out of GH's playbook of protective deceptions. Alternatively, the World Security Bureau might have secreted him away in a high-tech lab, similar to the ordeals faced by characters like Britt Westburn, only for him to resurface now amid the chaos stirred by villain Jen Sidwell's machinations. Previews for the week of September 22nd tease that Britt will be profoundly shaken, likely upon recognizing her brother, which could unearth her own buried secrets and force a sibling reunion laced with suspicion and joy. Inventively expanding, imagine Nathan's time away involving experimental treatments that altered his memories, making him a wild card who doesn't fully remember his family, adding layers of angst and redemption arcs that could span months. Yet, the possibility of a cunning lookalike can't be dismissed, potentially a pawn planted by Sidwell to manipulate Maxie emotionally or to frame Jason Morgan in a broader scheme of vengeance and power grabs. Pavey's coy promise of a fresh new story keeps speculation alive, hinting at developments that might jolt Maxie from her coma or complicate Damian Spinelli's steadfast role as her pillar of support during these trying times. Lulu's entanglement personalizes the mystery further, her act of heroism now intertwined with family ties if this is indeed Nathan, her cousin's lost love. Dandy's detective instincts might lead him to suspect an elaborate setup, clashing with Anna's more intuitive approach and creating dynamic tension in their partnership. Liesel Obrecht, still nursing wounds from Britt's own fake death saga, could react with the explosive mix of hope and fury, perhaps launching her own investigation that uncovers familial skeletons long hidden. The emotional core of this storyline hits hardest with Maxie in her vulnerable state, her coma adding a poignant layer where the return of Nathaniel or not could manifest as dream sequences or hallucinations, building toward a tear-jerking family reunion with little James potentially meeting his father for the very first time. Fans are passionately split on the forums, some yearning for Nathan's heroic revival to restore balance and romance, while others brace for a sinister twist echoing Faison's malevolent influence, turning what seems like a miracle into a nightmare. This enigmatic rival isn't just a plot device. It's a harbinger of turmoil that could redefine relationships across Port Charles, from Maxie's inner circle to the broader canvas of spies, mobsters, and everyday heroes. As the dust settles from this thriller, the question of whether this crash victim is the real Nathan West or a deceptive double lingers, like a storm cloud over General Hospital, promising weeks of revelations, betrayals, and heartfelt moments that will keep viewers hooked. Stay glued to our channel for the latest spoilers and breakdowns. Who knows what secrets will spill next in this ever-twisting tale.